everybody, it is Calxiyn here. If you guys enjoyed this video, you guys should become patrons over on Patreon to support the channel, but you guys should subscribe. I try to do one Miraculous Ladybug video a week, and this is it. So I wanted to talk about something, because on my reaction, which has, like, a lot of views, by the way, so thanks, guys, I was seeing the views come in, like, it has 20,000 views now, and then I was looking at sort of how many subscribers I was getting, and I'm like, all these Miraculous fans, like, what am I gonna do? Like, what theory can I give them, right? And this is a pretty, I think, obvious sort of theory, considering what we know, but somebody brought up that, like, Hawmoth now knows, like, for suresies, that they are basically in love with each other, right? And, like, I'm sure that Hawmoth could also deduce that, like, based out of all of their interactions, basically, right, you kind of, I think that you would get the vibe that Cat Noir is interested in Ladybug, but, you know, Ladybug has kind of been like, no. Like, I feel like even Hawmoth would get that. Like, even Hawmoth sort of ships them, right? But he probably understands, right? Like, he probably has picked up on that Cat Noir tries to make these advances, but Ladybug's like, no, I like someone else, or whatever she says, right? And so, keeping that in mind, it's kind of interesting to sort of think about, like, if I were Hawmoth, right? And Hawmoth seems to be a smart dude, right? Like, he seems to be a really smart sort of strategist in battle, right? He had this grandmaster plan at the end of season 2. I think, as Hawmoth, I would be able to figure out that something must have happened when they had amnesia to make them sort of, you know, forget about whatever it is stopping them from being together and finally sort of, you know, like, realize that they love each other, if that makes sense, which is something that they already knew. So I think it could be one of two things. So first, like, Hawmoth could just be like, okay, well, obviously, like, they forgot about, you know, whatever. They forgot about whatever, and, like, deep in their hearts, like, this is what they want. They want to be together. Or Hawmoth could maybe assume that the reason why they, you know, were cool with each other, if that makes sense, is because they realized their actual identities, like their civilian forms. Because if I were Hawmoth, and I had to sort of theorize on what happened, like, to get from point A to point B, I would be like, okay, well, if they de-transformed and saw each other de-transformed, right, like, maybe that had something to do with it. So we may pick up on that. I'm not sure. I think either way, it's safe to say, though, that the sort of love element is going to come into play, right? He says a sort of bit of foreshadowing at the end of the episode, which I'm paraphrasing, but it's sort of like, your love for each other will be your doom, right? Or something like that. And so I was sort of thinking about that, and I think that this could be done in a couple ways, but based off of the episodes that are on the wiki right now and what's listed, I think that the general theme, like, the battle for the end of the season, is going to be him sort of using that love against both of them, if that makes sense, because now he knows, like, regardless of what he thinks happened, or whether he thinks about the civilian forms or not, like, he knows that they have feelings for each other, even if both of them can't see that, right? And so he can obviously use that to his advantage and manipulate that. And apparently, so there's a couple, like, episodes that are listed on the wiki, and one is Cat Blanc? I don't know. Anyway, it's basically white in French, right? And so it says in the description, Ladybug challenges the last person she would have thought capable of being akumatized, Cat Noir, right? And so obviously something happens here, and so you kind of have to wonder, like, you wonder if Hawmoth set up something shady to make Cat Noir akumatizable, right? Like, say that they were already fighting a villain, right, or something, right, and then something happens between Cat Noir and Ladybug, and Hawmoth is sort of able to sort of, you know, make that fester somehow. And so it's one of those episodes where we start at the end of a fight with another villain, but then the actual villain of the episode is Cat Noir. Does that make sense? There's been a few episodes like that have sort of started with Cat Noir and Ladybug fighting someone else, but then somebody else was the actual person that would get akumatized and was, like, the villain of the episode sort of thing. Like, I think that would be kind of cool. So, like, they're battling some other villain, something happens between Cat Noir and Ladybug that Hawmoth sort of contrives, if that makes sense, and then Cat Noir gets akumatized, right? And so that's one of the episodes, and then the episode after that is called Felix, right? And so we know, if you guys don't know, basically Felix was the character that was originally gonna be Adrian, and he was a lot colder and sort of, you know, everything like that. Like, he was more of an anime cliche where he was sort of this cold, like, uncaring sort of dude, if that makes sense. Like, very strict, like, all dressed in black, and his hair, like, I don't know how to explain it. You'll just have to watch, like, the original, like, anime-esque opening, because that's where Felix is. And so as far as I know, they are making Felix Adrian's cousin, and so that could bring up some interesting stuff too. At least I think so. Just because it's sort of like that dynamic, like Adrian, first of all, having another family member, and also it sort of sounds like that he is obviously going to be focused on the episode if the episode is named after him. So I feel like some love-related stuff could also happen there, because obviously, like, what if all the girls at school, like, start to have a crush on Felix or something like that? I don't know, like, just something sort of contrived like that, where it's like, you know, all the girls are fawning over Felix and Adrian's just like, you know, because that stuff I don't think usually bothers Adrian, but if he basically has, like, a lookalike who is his cousin and all that stuff, and, like, I don't know, I feel like that would make me mad, but, like, I feel like that would be sort of interesting, too, to even further that conflict. Other than that, there's some other episodes, and so this is why I'm thinking that the theme is really going to be about the love stuff, if that makes sense, because one of the episodes is called Love Eater, and this is part 1 of the finale, and so apparently this is both of Chloe's parents, again, they get akumatized together and become a Cerberus, basically, that devours all the love in Paris. So again, it's this sort of theme of love, is that now that Hawmoth knows that Ladybug and Cat Noir love each other, he can sort of make this villain who will, like, devour their love and all that stuff. Like, I feel like that's sort of the Grandmaster plan is, you know, before it was sort of using past villains against them, but now Hawmoth has sort of found this weakness, you know, of his enemies this time, if you want to call it that, right? And I think that the weakness stuff is going to be love related. And then it says Miracle Queen, so Battle of the Miraculous is part 2. So Hawmoth akumatizes Chloe into Miracle Queen to put in place a fatal plan. Will Ladybug and Cat Noir escape it? We don't know. But I think that's interesting. Also, these are from the wiki, so I'm not 100% sure if they're real. Like, I'm pretty sure that they're real. I think. Like, we hope, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that it's real, at least I think so, and so I think that that's super interesting, because again, it's gonna be sort of this theme of, like, love all season, and we've had other episodes that have sort of reflected this too. Like, I guess, like, if you want to sort of see it going in that direction, you have the stuff like with Lila, and then you have the stuff with Kagami and Luca, and then even in the Anna Maestro episode, you see Chloe and Marinette sort of fighting over Adrian almost, right? And so it's sort of this thing where a lot of the lovey-dovey stuff is sort of coming to fruition, if that makes sense, because even though the ice skating episode with Kagami and Luca, like, that feels like it was forever ago, it is all sort of building up to sort of this point, right? And it has been, like, since season 1, but I think it is more so now, because you have sort of, like, Chloe recognizes Marinette has a crush on Adrian. Marinette is going more out of her way to sort of do things for Adrian and have her know, or have Adrian know that she's the one doing them, as opposed to, like, the scarf incident, which, like, yikes. Anyway, but you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, it seems like that is sort of going to be the turning point, if that makes sense, that all of the sections of the love square have such strong love for each other that it is going to be a giant part of the finale, and it is going to be a giant part of this season in general. So this is like Hawmoth's, like, trick up his sleeve right now, is that he knows, like, that they both love each other, and he's going to use that against him. And I think that's just so cool. Like, I think that's such a cool idea, because, you know, in the theme, it's like, the power of love always so strong, right? And so it's sort of that thing where it's like, you know, love can be strong, but Hawmoth is going to try to use it as sort of like their weakness, or to make it their downfall and all that stuff. I just think that that's so cool. Like, I think that's so cool. I don't know if I'm a nerd, but I just think that that's cool. That's pretty much all I gotta say. So, like, this is Hawmoth's secret weapon right now. Like, forget about Miraculous's, right, in terms of, like, yeah, he has the peacock, and yeah, he has his own. But I don't think that the finale is going to be about just, you know, akumatizing a bunch of old villains again. Like, no, it's that he knows something about the other side now. He knows something about the opposition. He's gonna try to get them. I think the other thing, too, is that recently, like, in the last episode, which was Oblivio, right, Alia and Nino, they get fused together into one villain in one person, and this sort of happened with the twins. Like, this happened in the episode with Alia's siblings, but thing was that they were two separate monster bodies, if you want to call it that, while Nino and Alia were one thing. And so I feel like that's also sort of where the series is going, or at least the season is going, is especially with that, oh, they both become, like, both of Chloe's parents become Cerberus or whatever it's supposed to be, right? Like, I feel like that they both got akumatized together, and so it's, again, one of those things where Nino and Alia, right, they love each other, right? At least I'm assuming they're dating, whatever, right? And so they, like, are, you could say, stronger together. And so that's, again, like, that's sort of the theme of love, is that love is being sort of used, like, by Hawmoth. Like, oh, Alia and Nino have strong feelings for each other. Maybe they make a stronger villain, like, if that makes sense. Like, they make a stronger enemy, sort of thing, because their emotions are more powerful. And that's how it could work with other people that are fused together, too, right? So that's kind of how I see the Cerberus thing happening, is that it's sort of like, I don't know, like, Hawkmoth's thing is all about emotions, and I think that love can be both a good and bad emotion sometimes, right? And so if you're able to sort of make that fester and take that to its extreme, I feel like he could, you know, mess some people up, you know what I'm saying? So again, the fusing together, just this whole theme of love, like, that's what I think, like, the secret weapon is this season, as opposed to the Peacock Miraculous and then akumatizing the old villains and all that stuff that happened last time. But yeah, that's basically it. That's sort of my theory. I mean, this theory has a lot to already say that it's probably gonna happen this way anyway. Like, I don't think that it's totally, like, mind-blowing or whatever. Like, I think anybody can sort of see that if they look at the episodes which are coming and sort of look at where we are now. Like, the whole theme of the show, to some extent, is love, right? Because they love each other, right? That's what makes them good teammates, good friends, and all that. But yeah, that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Usually my miraculous theories are a bit more complex than this, judging by the other stuff that I've done. But I really like this one, so, you know, you guys can tell me what you think. I'm really excited for more episodes, and I do try to do one miraculous video a week. So I hope that you guys enjoy that, and I will see you later. Bye. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you to all of our lovely patrons who have decided to support us over on Patreon. If you guys want to join up, there are a bunch of cool rewards for you guys, and some of the fan favorite rewards, you guys could say, are getting early access to our videos, being able to join and talk in our Discord server, being able to request videos at the $10 tier using video tickets. Those are just some of them, and so if any of those things interest you guys should check it out, become a patron, join our lovely patrons and I in the Discord server, and I will see you all in another video. Bye, guys!